interesting issue, this one. Why do not companies like Facebook, like Google, Apple pay tax here? Apple was the largest taxpayer in the US, but pays next to nothing in most parts of the world, including in New Zealand. I want to go around the panel and ask, why is that happening? Why is it okay? Let's start with you, Barry Coates, Green MP.
I think it's shocking. Multinationals should not get away with this. We all have to pay taxes, and multinationals should have to pay them too. At the moment, they're getting away with it because the rules allow them to get away with it. Now, the government's going to do some things, but they've kicked it in the long grass. Australia and the UK have got this diverted profit tax.
But they are doing things, though, aren't they? They're bringing in $100 million in the next 24 months. That's what they're doing. They are recouing.
Yeah. Well,
they've joined an international agreement.
The legislation hasn't passed yet. What we need is a diverted profits tax that puts a penalty on the multinationals.
Would the Greens support it? Would the Greens support it?
What the government is doing? Yes, but we don't think it goes far enough.
All right. What do you make of this issue, Carmel? You've got Apple. The last 10 years they made, what was it, $14 billion around the world. They're paying next to nothing here.
Yeah, and the disappointing thing is that IRD informed the government of this 7 years ago, and they still haven't acted on it. So really slow to act, and this is money that could be contributing to our country. So here we are, New Zealand workers out there paying their fair share in their taxes, but big multinational companies, the government aren't even bothering to chase. So I think it's gutless, and New Zealanders don't like this.
All right, well, let's go to Andrew Bailey here. People around the country watching this, having a cup of tea or a quiet beer, going, you know what, I work hard, I pay my fair share of tax, and I'm stunned and shocked that companies like Apple, like Google, pay next to nothing. Explain how that can ever happen here, Andrew.
Right, so sorry to be technical, but it's very easy for multinationals to shift profits from a New Zealand operation to an international operation, right?
Exactly.
So it's a very complicated thing. I know it sounds like trite, but what's been happening, the OECD have worked together, 65 countries, that Judith Collins went over and signed the agreement just 2 weeks ago, which means around the world, where those multinationals operate, they will now be paying a tax in all those operations, all those countries. What we've also done is that we have taken those provisions and put them into where we've got tax treaties.
He's kind of right.
We've done a lot.
Yeah, all right.
We've done a lot.
Barry, he's right, though, isn't it? It's actually quite a complex issue.
It is complex,
yeah.
but other countries have shown that you can take action on it through this diverted profits tax. It can be done. Australia and the UK are doing it, and we need to make sure that our New Zealand companies aren't put at a disadvantage. At the moment, they're disadvantaged compared with overseas companies.
No.
Overseas companies' online sales of products, if they're under $400, you don't have to pay GST.
But we have that here. We have that here.
For New
We've
Zealand
already
companies.
put that in place. We've generated 40 million extra tax revenue in the last 6 months from what's called the Netflix tax. We've also put in place...
Not on products, Andrew, not on products. You
no,
haven't
on
done
services,
it on products, just
and we've
on
also
services.
put in place resident withholding
Yeah,
tax for
Carmel.
non-residents.
Carmel, you jump in.
The government's looking at collecting about 100 and something million back
Going
off them,
up to
when the
300.
shortfall is, and at the lower end estimate anyway, about 300 million. So that's not very ambitious.
That's
and I don't think they'd be that generous to the average working New Zealand taxpayer.
I've got more questions on this, but I think that Charlotte's got a guest who wants to present something
Well, yeah.
to one of the MPs.
To Andrew, actually. Laura from Action Station has got this huge postcard. What's the postcard all about, Laura?
This postcard is representative of 10,000 people who have signed a petition calling for a diverted profits tax. But it's also to say thank you, because I agree with you, Andrew, that the National Party have actually done a lot in terms of cracking down on multinational tax dodging. And so this postcard is about saying, please go further and implement a diverted profits tax as well.
And can I say, Laura, thank you very much. And Judith Collins says thank you.
Thanks, Judith. That means a lot.
And I will deliver it to her.
Look,
definitely.
There it is. There's the postcard.
All right, go and
Judith
deliver it.
Collins, Minister.
Because we share the same views. No one in New Zealand should not be paying their fair share of tax. If we could do it, we would make it happen. And we are making it happen.
It hasn't
And
happened
that's the
for
thing.
9
I mean,
years of this
National are,
government. It's about
the
time
ones
it
that
did.
are, working for New Zealand. And I believe that if anyone can do it, you can absolutely bring
Well,
in a
Laura,
diverted profits tax.
why don't you go over and to present this postcard to
Can I
Andrew
come out
over here? There you go. Present the postcard.
Hey, thank you,
got
Laura.
it.
Hey, thank you very much. Very good. Cheers.
And Andrew, you going to make sure that Judith gets that?
Yes, I will.
Yeah, all right.
Definitely.
Okay, Charlotte, what does the audience make of this? Paying your fair share of tax. Are you there?
Now, where are we going to put this?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, we'll put it over here.
Yeah, I'm here. What do you think? I mean, if we suddenly made Facebook pay their tax and they declined, and then they said we're not going to have Facebook in New Zealand anymore, could you live without Facebook?
I don't think we would have to live without Facebook. I can't imagine that they would turn down a market anywhere. But if they did, we've had a very successful New Zealand company called TradeMe that beat out eBay to a New Zealand market. I'm sure we could come up with a New Zealand-based Facebook that would be just as good.
How funny you talk about TradeMe wearing that badge. What do you guys think? Could you live without Facebook?
Oh, I don't think we could actually.
No.
Wallace, could you live without Facebook?
No, absolutely not. But I want to ask just briefly, I mean, if it applies to companies like Apple, like Google, it would also apply to major New Zealand companies who are operating offshore, Barry. Is that not the case?
They should pay fair tax wherever they operate. That's exactly the way the system should work. And we gain if everyone pays fair tax, because most of the multinationals are abroad. We haven't got that many in New Zealand. We would benefit if we had fair rules that were implemented fairly. And the government's just been too slow on this. It's 9 years. And we still haven't got the legislation.
We got it.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.